So, our first speaker, some of you know him from our first SQBD Lightning Talks. It's Intekhab Sadekin. Come on up! Yeah, cheers. So, Intekhab Sadekin is currently working at... Did I ask you anything?
Alright. It's a software test automation engineer.
Okay. So he's currently working in Vantage, and he used to work in Therap, and he backstabbed us and went to Vantage. Like, we're good friends. That's why I keep calling this guy over here. All right, and he's going to be talking about some kind of vegetable.
Yes.
It's called
cucumber.
Cucumber, and you're gonna show us some dish with it, something called BDD or
a salad. I'm gonna show a salad. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. It's called Cucumber, making BDD fun, and I think it's gonna be a great topic. Actually, that's why I put it up at the very beginning of the show, because you're gonna be really liking it. All right. Intekhab, you ready? Okay.
Slide এবং Intekhab দুটোটা একসাথে আসে না দুটো এক স্ক্রিনে আসে না
Okay, hi, I'm done with the introduction, so let's move on. First, I'm going to show a small demo of what I want to do. Okay. Here it goes. This is essentially a feature file. Just remember the name. I'm going to explain what a feature file is. It essentially defines the behavior of the feature that I want to develop. So I'm going to run this feature file. So using Cucumber. Cucumber, you might think it's what? It's a vegetable? Hell no. It's something very, very, very cool. So I'm going to run this feature file that has the definition of a particular scenario that I described. So let it run first, then I'm going to explain how things work with Cucumber. I know, but it's going to continue for a minute, so I have 4 minutes to go after that. Anyways, as you can see, that the feature is called Google, and it's going to essentially hit a page in Google and try to search something with a particular, there you go, with a keyword, and then it is going to, there you go, okay. So what this basically did is run a particular scenario that I described earlier, and then what it did is run these scenarios, run the steps in the scenarios that I've defined. So if you think that I'm speaking all Greek, so let me just move on to the actual presentation. Okay. What is cucumber? One of the main constituents of a salad. Sure, okay, but that's not what we're here for. Okay. It is essentially a behavior-driven development and testing tool. What Cucumber actually comprises of is a feature file. A feature file is nothing but a definition of what you want to do, or the explanation of a particular scenario. So it is written mainly by non-technical people, mainly the business people or the stakeholder or the product owner or someone like that. It is written in plain English. Okay, this is all gibberish. Write a behavior in the form of scenario in a feature file. I'm going to give you the demonstration of that very soon. Write a code in order to satisfy the scenario. Very basic behavior-driven development. Run the feature file, watch it fail. Write the automation script with the template provided by the Cucumber. Cucumber also provides a template for you to write the test automation scripts in order to satisfy the behavior that you've described in the feature file. Okay. Behavior-driven development? No, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to discuss anything about behavior-driven development. I'm going to describe what Cucumber does, whether it aids behavior-driven development or not. Okay, this is the directory structure of Cucumber. This is essentially of no good. Okay, let's get straight to it. This is how you write a feature file that the Cucumber actually runs. So, feature plus the title, scenario, this is... Okay, you might not understand what it is. What the hell? Okay, let me give you a very specific example. A feature could be, as an admin, I want to be able to log in with my credentials so that I get it on the home page. This is the basic feature, and then you describe the scenario, or rather, the behavior. Given that I'm on page something, when I provide the username something and provide my password, then I should be at home page. So let's see what it does. From this behavior, you actually develop the application, or you actually develop the feature, and then run the damn thing using Cucumber. First, it will fail because you have not yet developed the feature. Then it is going to provide you a template with which you will write the automation scripts after you have developed the feature. Okay, this is what the template actually looks like. These are all code blocks, and you have pending in each and every one of them, and this is where the automation script goes. They're called step definitions, essentially a bunch of Ruby code. That is what is used for test automation using Cucumber. And a library called Water or Firewater can be used, that will provide the API for the test automation scripts. Run it again using Cucumber, and then after you have actually written some code for the test automation, it is going to fail again, giving you a very pictorial version of how it failed, because it is shown as red because it did not pass, it failed. Okay, make the necessary changes. In the first code block, as you see that I've written some Ruby code derived from the API of Firewater or Water, the tool that we use for the API for Cucumber. And then as you can see that the color has turned from green to red after I have run it again, because I have made the necessary changes, ran it again, and then it actually passed successfully, but the other steps are still in pending state, so we have to do that as well. So keep on running until all of them turn green like a cucumber, such as this. So after I have after I've made all the necessary changes, and after I've written all the automation scripts, assuming that the feature has been already developed for the behavior that I have described in the feature file. So that's about it. I hope I have...
That was a great talk, actually. But I wanted to know the difference over here. Like Cucumber, you write certain behaviors of how you do the tests in Cucumber.
Basically, you write the behavior of how the application should behave, because that is essential behavior-driven development. You describe the behavior first, then you developed to satisfy that behavior, right? So what Cucumber does is gives you something extra. It also helps you to automate the application that you've developed, just to have a sanity check of it.
So you said it interfaces with Water. It can interface with other tools, I guess, right? But okay. Oh, it has to be implementations of Ruby.
So far, yeah. So far, it has to be implementations of Ruby, but it can also incorporate other languages as well, such as C# and Java, and so on and so forth.
But why would people use Cucumber over here, but in their applications? Why not Selenium or other automation tools?
Okay. What Selenium actually does is it gives you, Selenium is essentially a tool for test automation. So you have an application with you, and then you write automation scripts based on the application that you have at hand. What Cucumber does is first, it helps you to write a scenario file based on which you're going to develop the feature. Then you're going to write the automation script, which the Cucumber is going to aid with writing the automation script. The Cucumber is going to run the automation script, and it's going to show that each and every steps or each and every scenario of the behavior that you have written for the application actually passes. So that's what Cucumber does over all the other tools. The testing, Cucumber is essentially a behavior-driven development and testing tool, but Selenium or other tools that you might actually name, they are essentially test automation tools.
Great. Does anyone have any other questions? I'm sure there has to be some questions. Ah, there is. Someone take the microphone there.
It's not working.
It should work.
Hello.
Okay, my question is actually, so far I understand actually, it seems to me the Cucumber likes an interface. I mean, it's just interfacing within the implementation, right? I mean, you might have a Selenium or the variation of Selenium like the author or something you could use. And you could use the normal functional test as well, right? I mean, you could utilize other testing form using the Cucumber.
Could you give an example of?
Okay, so let us give an example. As you showed in your example, it is for, I mean, following some syntax like given. Then I mean, it's following a syntax and.
But the syntax of it is very basic. It's essentially plain English.
What I'm just trying to say, actually, I mean, just giving a structure. So you are following and making all these user stories or whatever, the textual thing.
Behavior, yeah. They're called behavior. Yeah.
So you are writing those things.
Okay.
You are interpreting or parsing them, and you just
somewhat, yeah.
You just I mean, testing them whether it is in Selenium backing tool, or it could be.
For the test automation, you can use an array of tools. I mean, Watir and Firewater, those are what we used. But you can use an array of other tools in order to write the test automation scripts. But what Cucumber essentially does is gives you the behavior. And based on that behavior, you're going to develop the feature. Testing comes much later. So, exactly.
Absolutely. I was just trying to point this thing. I mean, this is interface. It's interfacing. I mean, you could write test for browser-driven test, where it will automatically fire browser and kick out a lot of things. And also, it could test some internal functionality as well.
Sure,
you could do the same
sure.
Using the same behavior and same thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that was what I had a question. I mean, I couldn't make it clear, but you know, I have the same.
But I guess you answered your own question because that's what it does. So.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Okay, no problem.
Any other questions?
How much does it cost?
It's free.
Okay. I have one question. So this is basically what you have said. I got so far. This is behavior driven, not scenario based. The Selenium, what these tools like what in what in or what in we can create, we can record some scenarios, we can generate some scenarios based on we can execute it just to give us the result execution status.
Exactly.
But this is not like that. Here we will put some behavior, and according to that we will implement our template, generate our codes just to later execution. No? Is this the difference actually? I don't get the clear difference between other execution tool
for very basic behavior-driven development. I mean, what is the basic definition of it? First, you have a behavior, then you implement. I mean, or develop the application which satisfies that behavior, right? What Cucumber does is gives you something extra. Behavior-driven development is there. Keep it aside. Cucumber gives you something extra. It gives you a template with which you can write automation scripts for the application that you've developed with the behavior that you've written in the feature file.
I think what people are not, I'm not talking for them, but is it clear why this is better than, you know, not doing this? Like, why behavior-driven development with Cucumber is better than not using this and going directly to automation tools? And with Cucumber, automation is not the main thing. It's basically, you know, developing, creating the behavior and making sure it passes or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what Cucumber does over other tools.
Why is it better?
Well,
I think you can also add it to it, like the Cucumber feature file. It is actually so simple that lots of non-technical product owners or the project managers, they can understand it and they can go through it with it, and they know that this is the basis of the test harness that the developers and the testers are going to develop. So I think you can elaborate on that part too.
So someone who writes the test cases, or for that matter, someone who writes the scenario, that this is how it should work. I mean, for them, the Cucumber feature file, where the behavior is actually defined, is very helpful for them because it is written in plain English.
Excuse me. I have just a question actually.
Alright, but this will be the last question.
Okay, I just want to clarify that example that you just put in your slide, that there is a blah blah.com something is page actually. So what you'll do, it will just open that page and then you try to log in with admin password, right?
Yeah.
So that was your example.
Yeah.
So if I consider it as a behavior, then the behavior is that I'm going to log in a page with a particular username and password. So what Cucumber, actually my question to you that is that Cucumber, the benefit of using Cucumber is that suppose I'm trying to check the behavior that okay, the product that I have developed, the login method or login mechanism actually, I can simulate that or I can automate that to actually.
Sure, that is one of the main, that is one of the other things that Cucumber does, but before development, Cucumber has its part as well in the entire development process, because with Cucumber, there is a thing called a feature file where the behavior is actually defined, and based on that behavior, I mean someone else writes that behavior. Based on that behavior, the developer actually develops the product or that particular feature. Then what Cucumber does is gives you something extra. It also helps you automate the feature that you've developed. So
actually the confusion actually arises actually the behavior and the scenarios that the raise the question that most of the tools that they do that the recording utility, I'm just recording something and just I'm playing it again and again.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the difference with the Cucumber in that part? Actually I'm also recording a scenario. It's not I'm recording, I'm just writing down a scenario.
Yes, you are writing down a scenario before even knowing the implementation process, because you have not yet implemented anything. First, you define the behavior.
So just for clarification, so suppose the login mechanism that I have just used as an example, is that true that the login part was not implemented by the developer already?
It was not. It was not. That is essentially what Cucumber is, because before the development process ends.
Okay.
Can we like shut him off?
I know. You know, I had to do that. That's a little unconventional, but it had to be done. You guys fight elsewhere, all right? Yes, we can have this conversation. Thank you for reminding me. You can have this conversation at SQBD, a mailing list. It's a forum. It's a Yahoo group. So most of you have, are from SQBD already, as members of SQBD. You know already. Yeah. And we are going to actually, publish the slides, okay? But we'll let you know how we're going to publish the slides, and maybe you can start a discussions on this. Let me be very clear. There are a lot of misunderstanding about Cucumber and this behavior-driven development, because the questions are, telling us that. So if you can clarify it more over there with writing, or some links where we can read more about it, and Thank you very much. A big hand for Intekhab. Great guy. Right, and he's doing bleeding edge stuff. That's why it was over our heads. All right. Okay. Next.